Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Quad City sports fans of all ages, ESPN 93.5 and Town Square Media is proud to present to you the best Quad City sports talk radio show in the world. With the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, Jaybird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City Sports Talk radio show. We're not the Quad City Sports Talk radio show. We are your Quad City Sports Talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the Dawn.
Hey, it's frickin' Friday, boys. Right here in the Hassle Palace, brought to you by Done Right Satellite and Dish. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us or Local here on ESPN 93.5. And if you know what frickin' Friday means, you know that means we have our friends from Front Street Brewery in the house. And we're glad to welcome to the show for the first time, Chef Ryan Proctor. Chef, welcome to the show.
How we doing?
Hey, great, man. How about you?
Good.
You and the boss man's behind the scenes over here, Tim Baldwin. Tim, thanks for stopping in as well. These guys brought us some beer and some food, some stuff that's going to be coming out this Friday on the beer side. And you brought some egg rolls that you're going to be serving for St. Pat's Day. Talk to us.
Yeah, that's they're corned beef and cabbage egg rolls, Irish egg rolls, and we're going to serve them on St. Patty's Day in the fest for the Friday the 15th, 4 p.m. to midnight, and Saturday 9 a.m. to midnight. And they'll be $5 for two. They're pretty big, as you can see.
Yeah, they're huge, man.
Five for two?
This was this is a heck of a deal. Now, this was the mastermind of your boss, if I understand right.
Yes, absolutely, yep. And I just did the execution.
Hey, I'll tell you what, you executed fine. Everybody dig in real quick.
Thank you. And then, that sauce is a stout.
Like how he tells us what to do and we just stare at him and laugh.
I don't care. I'm not eating that. That's so good. Marvin, I don't think you'll like yours. You better just hand over to me. Oh, my God. I'll tell you what, Chef, you nailed that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And then talk to me about this beer, because this is Mitch, by the way, who's been on the show before. We'll take credit for Mitch, Tim. You know that, right? But Mitch is just nailing this beer on these frickin' Fridays.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So this is
it's a cereal milk stout made with all the popular breakfast cereals, and man, it tastes like cereal milk with just a dab of stout to it. It's good.
I'll tell you what, if you guys,
Wow,
if I lived down there, dude, I would just be a big. They'd have to roll me out of there. There would be like a bed. Like, what's T-Roy doing? He's just eating himself to death. Gluttony.
One of the 7 deadly sins.
I don't care. If that's where I'm going to die, I'll die at Front Street Brewery eating food and drinking beer. That's how it has to be.
That
Jay.
stout is fantastic.
That is. I'll tell you what. I mean, Mitch never disappoints, and every time I'm thinking, he can't outdo himself. Because a couple weeks ago, the Acapulco Gold had me in here. I was doing Cheech and Chong impersonations the entire day. It was great. But this is, man, I'll tell you what. I mean, you got to love it as a chef. You just sit back. You got a guy who's just doing the beer.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'll just have fun pairing stuff with this. Man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what else you guys got coming up other than St. Pat's? Any other big festivals going on? Stuff that you're going to be rolling out new or anything like that?
We got a new menu coming out probably mid-April. Just change up a little stuff, modernize, make some beautiful stuff, some fresh like strawberry salads, and just some different types of. We're actually going to do pastrami in-house.
Oh, nice.
We're going to do pastrami or rye, and then we'll have a pastrami burger as well. Melty cheese, in-house jardiniere. A nice big 10 ounces of pastrami, as it should be. Right?
That's just making me hungry.
You're turning him on.
I'm going to move away from him because I'm going to rape him right here.
Oh, wow.
I'm still not a raper.
Oh,
I just hear heavy breathing over there.
Yeah.
My stomach's so excited. So, man, I'm excited for everything you guys got coming. That sounds great. Now, where's your chef background from? How long have you been at this?
I've been doing it. I've been cooking since about 20 years, and then I moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Actually, went to Ferris University, Cordon Bleu up there, and I just ended up working under a bunch of chefs under there. Actually, at the same time, I worked for a Cajun chef, a Japanese sushi chef, and a French chef all at once. So they all owned this kitchen. And then I just was like, why am I in school?
How did that dynamic work out?
Did the French chef walk around like this a lot? I give up. No. Oh, all right.
What kind of restaurant was that?
It was believe it or not, it was just an all-American restaurant. It just
Sounds about right.
yeah, yeah. It was pretty great place, and yeah, it was just one of those things where you work under these chefs and you just learn as much as you possibly can, and I just kept going.
No, that's great. So then, what brought you to the Quad Cities, or are you originally from here?
I'm originally from Davenport.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, yep. I graduated from West, and yeah, and I decided to move out there. I was dating a chiropractor, and she's like, "You want to be a living chef for a rich family?" And I said, "Yep."
There you go. Those chiropractors get you every time, man. I got a joke, but I can't tell it on air.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's great to have you back in the Quad Cities. Great to have you down at Front Street Brewery, Chef. I mean, this is great. I know I'm going to look forward to many more times having you on air for sure.
Yeah,
so
be great.
Go ahead.
Jay, what do we got?
Marvin's going to go grab that. I believe it's my phone call. Someone's calling in right now, and he's got to grab that for me real quick.
Okay.
Marvin is. No, so this is exactly what we're tapping today at 5 o'clock down there.
Correct.
You guys got to go down there for this at 5 o'clock.
And I'll tell you what.
And some of you are starting your spring break. Just start it off. Happy hour down there at the tap room.
And Chef, this is something that you might not know, but we coming in May. We're going to be doing one Friday a month, the show live down from the tap room, and you'll be releasing the frickin' a little earlier that day. So we'll do a live show. We're in the midst of making sure.
What beer is this again?
This is what is this? It's a cereal milk stout. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so like I said, we're looking forward to that. So hopefully when those days come, you're not too busy at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Maybe pop down a few times and
I'd
hang
love
out
that.
with us on a frickin' Friday for real.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah. Awesome. We got a really interesting show today. In about 10 minutes, we're going to talk to former Major League Baseball pitcher Turk Wendell. Some of you may know him in the 90s when he pitched for the Cubs. He's the one. He's voted by Sporting News as the most superstitious baseball player of all time. He's the one that would slam the rosin bag down on the bump, brush his teeth between innings, chew black licorice, leap over the foul line. We're going to talk to him about playing baseball in Massachusetts, his getting into the major leagues, and then how he has an event here next Saturday. And we're going to talk a little bit about that.
And he lives in Iowa now, right?
He lives in Altoona now,
Yeah.
He's going to have at Genesis Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine, they're going to have him. It's going to be at the place on 53rd. He's going to talk about baseball, and then he's going to go through some of his routines, his drills, practice, and preparation. That's going to be on March 16th from 10 to 2 up on at 1702 East 53rd Street. Then we're going to talk to Dean Jackson. He is a former... Dean Jackson is a former... he used to be the voice of the AF2, which is when the Steamwheelers were in here. And for those of you familiar, that's when they won their league.
Well, first 2 championships ever were won by the.
And now he's on the East Coast, and he's developed he does an NFL podcast and an Alliance podcast. So I just reached out to him. We'll talk to him a little bit. And Adam Rosso's back from Madison. He went up there last night. So he was at Ethan Happ's senior game, and we need to talk about the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, the Hawkeyes are looking bad. Unfortunately, and also another team that did not play their best all season long at the wrong time was the North Scott Lancers. Yeah, unfortunately,
they failed for the first time to score 40 points in a game. They actually only scored 27. That's the lowest scoring. It's the lowest scoring by a losing team since 1950 in high school state championship tournament. They went 10 minutes without scoring a bucket.
Well, I know they came out of the third quarter up 25-22.
Yes.
And they lost, I think, 35-27. So
yeah,
unfortunate, but hey, a hell of a year for those kids out there. Nothing to hang their heads about. I mean, they're going to play for third place, I think, tomorrow night.
They're playing today against Waukee.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
and then
take out Waukee. Let's go, guys.
Come back and win your last game playing together for those seniors. Cedar Falls will be playing Dubuque Senior, so it's an all MVC state championship final. So, but
how do you really feel about it?
That's the way I feel about it.
All
so
right.
it's good for them and good for Coach Buddy. It's not the way they wanted their season to end, but you know what? Third place isn't third or fourth place, however the game goes. Nothing to shake a stick at. And then after this I got to go up to the Twin Cities and I guess help
watch
shovel
some wrestling.
Yeah, we're gonna go watch the Big Ten's wrestling tournament, but I am worried about the 8 inches of snow that's supposed to hit tomorrow. So
I think you're going to be fine. I hear the snow in Minnesota is the same as the snow in Iowa. It's white and it's fluffy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're going to be fine.
I think they already have like 14 inches, though.
Yeah.
All right. But let's take a quick break. Again, guys, good down to Front Street.
Thanks again, Chef, for stopping in. Chef Ryan Proctor coming in. We got corned beef. Egg rolls are going to be down there on the 16th and the 17th? Mm-hmm. Or 15th, 16th?
15th and the 16th.
15th and the 16th. I know you guys got a big fest going on, the Kelly's Irish Fest and everything you guys got going. Any live music that we should?
Yep.
All day? All right. Well,
Irish
if you're out and
dancers.
about, if you're downtown, make sure you check it out. That's Front Street Brew at the Tap Room, though. This is where all the Irish Fest is going to be going on. So make sure you check it out. Thanks again for stopping in, Chef. It was damn glad to meet you.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, guys. And hey, Quad City, stop going to your favorite social media sites asking on suggestions on where to get your oil change, who does the best tattoo work, or where you're going to grab some lunch. Just pick up your Locals Love Us guide. It has an easy-to-navigate table of contents to find what you're looking for, or you can go to the website at localsloveus.com, click on Quad Cities, and browse your favorites. It's easy to use and even rank the most popular places for you. So make sure you check them out. Those are our friends from Locals Love Us, your guide to the best.
Did this 3 times yesterday. Social media. Exactly that.
What?
Hey, where do I go? Anyone know a good tattoo? Seriously, and he's probably listened. Josh, he wrote that. He said, like, who knows a good tattoo, and cut and pasted. Locals Love Us, Quad Cities, every time. It's just done.
That's what you do?
That's what I do.
Jay's mad.
All right.
I'm not mad. I'm just saying. I mean,
Listen to us.
Yeah, listen, we're leading you to the water, guys. Just drink it. Or drink the beer. We're leading you where the beer is, too. I can tell you that. Follow T-Roy. I won't lead you astray. All right, I think we can go to a real break now.
We'll be right back.
I give a rat's ass about Twitter.
Hey, this is Goose, PA announcer for the Quad City Storm, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Do it again, a little more heart.
Quad Cities, get ready for WWE Live. Sunday night, April 21st at Moline's Tech Slayer Center in a double main event. Braun Strowman exacts revenge on Baron Corbin. He's gonna get these hands! Then in a triple threat match, Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, and Drew McIntyre face off for the Intercontinental Championship. Plus, Sasha Banks and many more. Don't wait. Great seats are available now at the box office and Ticketmaster.
In a world where dreams are built from the ground up, Tailored Living makes room for your vision. Imagine his and her walk-in closets in the master bedroom.
Oh, my dream come true. I could just kiss you. Mwah!
Sweet. Your home, your dream.
Tailored Living Custom Closet or Organization System will take you from clutter and chaos to control. Hi, I'm Amy. Schedule your free in-home consultation at tailoredliving.com. And together, you and I will build the closet of your dreams.
ESPN 93.5 wants you to be an insider. Access great contests and giveaways and be in the know at ESPN935.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged. And ESPN Quad Cities. From local to global, ESPN 93.5 has you covered with your Quad Cities sports talk show. It's Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Talk sports with your favorite foursome, T-Roy, Jay Bird, Serge, and you. Weekdays from noon to 2 on ESPN 93.5.
Sheedy Family Chiropractic is your choice for chiropractic care in the Quad Cities. From little leaguers to high school athletes and the weekend warriors, treating new injuries, muscle or joint problems, and chronic pain, we are committed to providing cost-effective care for your family's needs. Same-day appointments available most days for new patients and always $20 sports physicals. Sheedy Family Chiropractic, getting you back to work, play, and life. Call today or find us online at sheedychiro.com. That's SHEEDY Chiro.com.
Get your maximum refund and your taxes prepared for half the price with AmeriFile.
I'm Christy, a single mom from Bettendorf. I got tired of paying $250 at H&R Block, so I went to AmeriFile. As advertised, they did my taxes for far less than half the price.
Bring in a copy of last year's tax return done by H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, Liberty Tax, or any other tax preparer, and we will cut your tax prep fees in half, guaranteed.
This year, AmeriFile has the best tax prep deal in town. Save hundreds having your taxes prepared with AmeriFile, and you get a coupon for free Rudy's Tacos, Whitey's Ice Cream, or hungry hobo. Trust AmeriFile's 30 years tax experience to handle any simple or complex tax situation. Remember, this tax season, save hundreds with AmeriFile, the best tax prep deal in town. Free Rudy's Tacos, Whitey's Ice Cream, or Hungry Hobo. AmeriFile Tax Centers, Davenport, Moline, and Clinton. Call 762-8087. That's 762-8087 or AmeriFile.com.
H&R Block is a registered trademark. After price taxes from last year's fees. $75 minimum.
Now, back to Don't Hassle Us. We're local on ESPN 93.5.
There you go.
All right, we're back in the Hassle Palace, brought to you by Done Right Satellite and Dish. This is Don't Hassle Us, our local here on ESPN 93.5, and we're proud to announce joining us live on air, former Major League Baseball player Turk Wendell. Turk, welcome to the show.
Here you go. There you go. Now he's on. Hey, Turk.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Good.
Great, sir. It's an honor to have you. I'll tell you what, as a Cubs fan, I remember when you made your debut, and it was great. You're always one of my all-time favorite Cubbies.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, Turk, you're on the air here in the Quad Cities at ESPN 93.5. This is Jay talking right now. There's Troy in the studio and Serge as well, so if you hear a couple of voices coming, it's not an echo. There's just two other voices that are going to be on the air with you.
No problem.
Okay, a week from Saturday, you're going to be in town. You're going to be at Genesis Physical Therapy. You have a couple things going on from 10 to 12. You're going to be just giving a little talk to some of the youth and college kids. This is a free-to-attend event. You don't need to RSVP. It's open to the public. And then from 12:30 to 2, you're going to demonstrate some drills, some practice and game time preparation, and then do some hands-on training for the youth in attendance, right?
Yes, sir. Should be a good time.
And you're coming to the Quad Cities from where?
I live outside Des Moines.
Altoona?
No. Adel.
Adel, okay. All right. How did you end up in Adel?
Well, as you guys know, Iowa is God's country, and I moved out here from Colorado. I played in Des Moines parts of 3 seasons, and just really, I actually first full season of pro ball I played in Burlington for the Burlington Bees.
Yeah, nice.
And just fell in love with Iowa, and then I got married, and the now ex-wife, she had a job out in Colorado, so that's where I kind of ended up, but. As soon as I got divorced, I said, I'm moving back as soon as I can. And my son graduated high school May the 10th. I moved out here May the 15th.
Wow. So as soon as he was done high school in Colorado, you hightailed it to Iowa, huh?
Yep. I never looking back.
Now, you grew up in Massachusetts, Turk? Is that correct, or just born there?
No, that is correct. I grew up in the western part of Mass, and then I went to school in Connecticut, and then was drafted after my junior year by the Braves, and then just traveled around everywhere playing ball after that.
I have to mention this, and I know it means nothing to you, but you made your debut on one of my good friends from high school, her birthday, and she's one of the hugest Cubs fans. Her name is Jenny Baver, so shout out to her making your Cubs debut and on her birthday in '93, and I'm just glad to hear that you love Iowa so much, man. This is great. I think you're right, too.
Everybody I talk to says, what are you, nuts? You moved from Colorado to Iowa? The winters here suck. It's cold. The summers are hot and buggy. I said, you keep telling everybody that. Keep everyone the hell out.
Yeah, we get that a lot.
Yeah. No, you're right though. I mean, if you can just get past like the 2 parts of the year when it's really brutal cold or it's really crappy hot, it's great. It's Iowa, man. It's heaven, right?
Not that bad. I mean, especially when you get people in Colorado Colorado is not the way Colorado used to be 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have been moving there. It's like really overpopulated now, isn't it? From what I've kind of been hearing.
No, it truly is. And then once they pass the law, you could smoke all the weed you want and all this other stuff. The weather's so nice; it could snow 2 feet, and literally 2 days later, it's gone, and there's not even a trace of snow. And it's crazy. 2 feet of snow one day, 65 for shoveling the driveway in shorts.
Wow.
Not exaggerated at all. Well, classic example, a buddy of mine came out to elk hunt. I guided him. In the morning, it was an absolute blizzard. You couldn't see 20 feet in front of you. And that afternoon, we were hunting in short sleeve shirt.
So big hunter, I take it, Turk.
Yeah, that's another perk to moving to Iowa.
Yeah, we have some great whitetails here, don't we?
Oh, that's what I live for. I love hunting. I love trapping. I had a ranch in Colorado, and I had to draw a license to hunt my own property. I mean, I get it if you're a non-resident, but if you live in the state, you know, it's pretty messed up that you have to draw a license to hunt your own property, and then you're stuck hunting in one little unit. Where, you know, Iowa, you just go to the store, buy a license, and you hunt the whole state.
Yeah, it sounds to me like they have some different leadership in that state. We won't go there. It's not a political show, but I smell what you're stepping in for sure, buddy.
Let's not get into that can of worms.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I gotta ask. So, who gave you the name Turk?
My grandpa, when I was 3 years old, I was outside jumping on a huge snow pile, and evidently he's watching me in the window, and I went down face first and looked up and was all bleeding on my face, and he kind of got startled and jumped up and was getting his coat on. By the time he got to the door, I was back up on top of the pile, just sliding down on my face again. And he had a buddy, his name Turk, that did a lot of dumb stuff, and of course I fit that mold to a T, so it was Turk ever since then. Heck, if someone said my real name, I wouldn't even turn around.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, all right, outside of, you played for, you got to play in the World Series in 2000, and you played for multiple teams. You had a major league career. When you were coming up through the Cubs in the minor league system, we knew of you because of obviously the stories of the superstitious stuff.
Yeah, but it's superstitious. You can say what it is. It is more just a routine.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it was an obviously unique routine, but it's just every player has a routine that gets them into a comfort zone, and we're just creatures of habit. That's human. And if you go to work one day and you get a ticket, and then 2 days later you go to work that same way and you get in an accident, well, I guarantee you're never going back to work the same way. You're going to figure out a different route, and you're going to eat the same things and do the same things. We wake up every day. You wake up, you probably go to the bathroom, jump in the shower, brush your teeth. And if you don't do one of those things, if you get to brush your teeth, maybe you forget to shower, maybe you forget to put deodorant on, you just feel uneasy. Like, do I smell? Do I have bad breath? And it's going to affect your day, whether you think so or not. And as a baseball player, it's an everyday task that you have to start out, say, at 0, and you got to get to 100%. And the best way to really attain that is having a routine and sticking to it. You may tweak it here and there, but I try to teach a lot of young kids that if you can be a fly on the wall in a clubhouse, in a major league clubhouse for, say, 2 weeks, if you're lucky enough, and just watch all the guys that are, I kind of say, if you've been in the big leagues for 4 to 5 years or longer, just watch those guys. They all have a routine. They're all different, but they all have a routine. And it doesn't matter if they went 5 for 5 with 4 home runs the day before, or 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. They stick to the routine.
No,
it's the level of consistency.
You're right. It is a routine, and it's just one thing that you find that makes it, like you said, it makes you feel comfortable. But obviously, people make stories of it. Did you guys in the clubhouse, did they give you a hard time for some of your routines?
Oh, of course, absolutely. Black licorice and everything, but Brock's is a big candy company out of Chicago, and they'd send me any kind of candy I wanted, and they'd send me licorice on dry ice.
Oh, that's
and
great.
I would just tell everybody, hey, let me know what kind of candy you want, and I'll ship it here. So just fire away. Let me know what you guys want.
No, Turk, who was, you outside looking at other people, who was probably the most interesting major leaguer you played with?
Oh, wow. We had a bunch of different characters on so many different teams. Al Lido was pretty fun. He'd chew his glove and stuff, and he was pretty animated on the mound when things didn't go so great, or he gave up a hit, or it was a close call or something. There's just different guys with different weird things. There was a guy, I can't remember his first name, I think it was Jose Pettigini. he was just basically a minor league player. He came up with the AAA for the Mets when I was there, and he would always shower before the game and pour a beer over his head. He went on, I guess, to have a really good career over in Japan. But just stuff like that, you're going, how did that start?
Now, as a pitcher, who would you say was the greatest hitter you ever faced?
Well, I played in the era of obviously Bonds and McGuire and Bagwell, and DiCio, Piazza, even though Piazza was a teammate, Larry Walker, Todd Helton. Those, I think the two purest hitters that I admired facing the best, Tony Gwynn, and Larry Walker and Todd Helton were just unbelievable hitters, kind of like with Vlad Guerrero.
Right.
It was hard to set those guys up because they hit the ball where it was pitched. And
right.
I remember facing Tony Gwynn for the very first time. I got traded over to the Cubs, and that's when this is how back it goes. The Padres have spring training in Yuma, Arizona, which is up by Palm Springs, so it was about 6 hours from Phoenix area.
I've driven through Yuma, brother. I know right where you're at. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, we'd bus over there for a long weekend and play them, and the Angels had spring training there too, so we kind of knocked both those teams out the same trip. But I threw Tony Gwynn a nasty changeup, just faded low and away it was 8 inches off the dirt, and he one-handed it off the left center field wall. And I'm just going, you've got to be kidding me. And Sandberg gets the ball at second, and I'm halfway between the mound and second, and he flips the ball to me and looks at me and goes, don't worry. He does that to everybody.
Dude, that's great. That right now is my favorite story.
But it just got to be where, you try to do different things with Tony Gwynn, and the best philosophy that I learned and we came up with is throw it down the middle and hope he hits it at somebody.
Yeah.
If you try to out-trick him, out-think him, you're just going to get burned.
Yeah, or you're going to walk him, and then you're stuck with somebody on base anyway. So exactly.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, that's great. I know it's funny. There's always those online Twitter debates, and someone was on there, and I just laugh at some of the younger generation, and they didn't include Tony Gwynn as one of the all-time greatest hitters. I guess in my eyes, I know I never see Ted Williams play, but I know the man batted 400, and I know Tony Gwynn was always like, I'm a little bit younger than you, but not much. I mean, Tony Gwynn was it, and Wade Boggs was it, like when I was growing up, and Rod Carew was right before those guys. I mean,
oh yeah,
I just remember those names, and I know like even George Brett. I mean, these guys were masters with the bat in their hand.
Well, I think the pure art of hitting has kind of gone by the wayside. Now it's all about launch angles, spin ratios, and see who can hit the most dingers. I just actually read, I coach Mets fantasy camp every year, and I'm on a text feed with about 12 other campers. They're talking about in the Independent League, Atlantic League, they're going to push the mound back 2 feet. And it's all about, everybody's sitting there saying, we want to see a 12 to 15 game with lots of home runs, but we don't want to sit there for 4 hours. Well, you can't have everything.
No, that's called the NBA.
Game. Yeah, you want to speed up the game? Make the umpires call a strike that's a strike in the rule book, from the armpits to the kneecaps. Guys are swinging the bat, the game speed up, you're either going to be on base or you're going to be out. That simple.
I mean, that's just going to slow. I mean, these guys, if you move that mound back 2 feet, that's going to slow the ball down so much. I mean, these guys are such great hitters now. It's insane. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, that's the thing. They want it, they're building all these parks small, and then guys are bitching the fences are too far. So they pull the fences in. They did it in San Diego. They did it when they built the new stadium in Detroit a bunch of years ago. Juan Gonzalez bitched about that. They pulled the fences in. There wasn't enough home runs in San Diego, so they pulled the fences in. I believe they even pulled the fences in a little bit in New York in the Mets new stadium.
Yep, they did.
But, nobody wants to see a good old-fashioned classic 1-0 pitcher's duel unless it's Clayton Kershaw versus Zach Greinke or somebody like that.
We do.
I do. I was a pitcher too, man. I love it. I mean, there's nothing better than watching a guy out there.
I'm not saying that because I'm a pitcher, but I'm just saying it because I'm a traditionalist, the purist. I love the game, and they keep screwing with the game. They're going to ruin it. I'm at the point now where I'm like, holy cow, what's it going to be like in 10 years? I mean, what's my kid? My kid's on the cusp of playing minor league ball now. He's at junior college here in Iowa, And, you know, what's it going to be like when he breaks in? It's stupid. You know what they do in single A now, too? Single A baseball. If the game is tied after 11 innings, they start the inning with a guy on second base.
Right.
Sounds like beer league softball.
All right,
no, it's called California tiebreaker. You know? Well, think about it. Think about it. So you're the pitcher. You come in the 11th inning, and there's a guy on second base. You give up you lose the game. You get stuck with a loss because of that.
And an earned run. Right?
Probably. Yeah. It could be, but still, you're going to get nailed with a loss. And they're smart enough people in baseball now. They should give the loss to the guy. I can make the perfect pitch. Ball goes through the shortstop's legs. Why do I get the loss? Shouldn't he get the loss?
Right.
He screwed up the game. They're smart enough people that can figure that stuff out.
So as you're watching today's baseball, I mean, who do you admire out there? Who do you think is playing the game right? I mean, who's kind of the people like you would want your son to look up to now that are playing the game?
I love watching Kershaw. I love watching Chris Sale, Baumgartner. I mean, those are guys, and obviously they're pitchers, but I love watching, pure hitters too. Good contact. I mean, I love watching Ichiro play. Every facet of the game, he can hurt you. Other just pure hitters like a Mookie Betts. I'm a Red Sox fan, so I watch a lot of Red Sox games. I love watching Pedroia, how hard he plays. I love watching Baez play, but I think he's a really good player, but he's too much of a showboat for me. I like Rizzo, quietly just does his job. Guys like that just kind of, I guess you'd call them the blue-collar players that, they just shut up and do their job. But guys, like I said, with Kershaw, Baumgartner, Greinke, today's day of pitching, I mean, hell, these guys are getting $20 to $30 million to go out there and throw 5-6 innings every 5 days. But you throw those guys in there, and they mentally train and physically train. If that game's going to go 10 innings, they're ready to go 10 innings. That's their game on that day. Chris Sale, nobody else is getting the ball. Most kids don't have that mentality anymore because of the stupid 100-pitch pitch count.
Right.
Well, you don't train mentally or physically. You should be able to throw 150 pitches every 5 days. That shouldn't be a problem. And now, what do? It's 100 pitches. Oh, gosh, the guy's throwing 100 pitches. Well, they have somebody warming up when he hits 80, 85, so you're conditioning to be 80 to 100 pitch pitchers, and that's it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The way the money in the game has changed because you got setup guys making $3 to $5 million. You got closers making $10 to $15, $20 million. But you can't run those guys out there every single day and expect to get the same results. I mean, that's why the rotation only pitches every 5 days.
What are your thoughts on a couple of the other proposed rule changes out there, like the DH throughout baseball or the pitch clock?
Pitch clock's stupid. Make the guys just sit in the box. Get in the box. Most of the time, these guys are in there and they're dicking around with their batting gloves or digging in the dirt. Back in the day, you didn't dig in the dirt. You got knocked on your ass.
That's right.
These guys swing out of their shoes. Well, think about it. These guys can swing out of their shoes. They fall down. Their helmets fall off. If you did that back in the day, you were going to sit on your ass again the next pitch. And it just, you talk about the DH, I mean, that just throws another factor in the game that you got to worry about some slugger. I used to joke around calling the American League beer league because it's all like beer league softball. It's how many home runs can he hit? There's no strategy of pitching around this guy to get to the pitcher spot. There's no double switch where I can get the pitcher out of the game. They're just taking that facet out of the game, and it's slowly ruining the game. I mean, you can't take out the second baseman anymore. You can't hit the catcher anymore. If you talk about those two specific rules, you talk to catchers. Joe Girardi said Buster Posey broke his leg, and it was his own fault because he wasn't doing it properly. And how many times do guys get hit at home plate anymore anyway? Most guys are too much of a wuss to hit the catcher. And then you take Chase Utley, taking out, I don't know who it was, Mejia maybe, I forget the second baseman in the playoffs or I don't think it was the World Series.
Oh, was it? It was the guy, the stinky guy, the guy that named rings like stink. Odor.
Well, yeah, no, that was
You're thinking Jose Batista and him.
Yeah,
Joey
Odor
Bats.
knocked Batista out, but didn't
No.
But didn't Odor get taken out at second? Isn't that why? All right, maybe I'm wrong.
No, that came from Batista flipping his bat the year
Yeah.
before.
Oh, all right. You're right. I forgot.
But well, at least you're breaking up too. It's a playoff game, and you're the second baseman, and there's a double play ball. Why would you turn your back on the runner? You know the guy's trying to take you out.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense to me. So now it's Utley's fault for breaking up too. Everyone on the Dodgers is giving Utley a high five. You did your job. You broke up double play. Now the Mets are all mad because the idiot broke his leg because he wasn't watching. That's just like standing there and turning your back on the pitcher and being pissed they hit you with the ball on accident.
Yeah, or crowding the plate, but you have all this gear on to protect you from getting hit on the inside pitch.
The elbow guards and all that other stuff.
What were you saying, Turk?
That's a whole other deal there. I mean, how is it you might as well just go up there with body armor on? And then, guys, I joke around all the time with guys they flip their batting gloves to the first base coach or the shin guards or the arm guards. You just legged out a triple or a double. Now you can't run another 90 or 80, 180 feet home with that stuff on.
That's a great point.
Well, speed up the game, right? Keep the crap on.
I'm with you, man. I love it.
And then the whole replay deal, I'm all for replays. If you want to call and get the game right, fine. But you know what? As soon as the play happens, and if you want to question it, you throw a red flag like they do in football out on the field. You don't sit there and wait a minute or 35, 45 seconds so they can go up and sit on the phone. The video guy translates it and all that. No, you watch the game on the field, and you play the game on the field. It's like football. I don't understand why football can do all this technology with guys up in skybox. Play the damn game on the field. Don't worry about that other stuff. You want to really show me what you can do as a coach. Don't sit there and print off all these plays in between plays and downs and all that other stuff. Play the game on the field. Then you don't have to worry about any cheating or any other crap.
I'm with you, Turk. I love it, man. You're a breath of fresh air. I'm telling you, I love it.
Couple other things, Turk.
Well, I mean, I just call it. I see how it is. That's
we appreciate that.
Way.
No, there needs to be more people like you, dog.
Well, I'm saying, some guys are like, you say too much or whatever. You know what? You may not like what I got to say, but you'll respect me. I mean, if you don't like it, great. I don't care. But if you think about it, I mean, I'm not trying to cause waves. I'm just keep it simple. Keep it the way it is. Baseball's been around for, 250 years or something like that? I don't know. I think it's a great sport, but they keep tinkering with it and dicking around with it. They're just going to ruin it. I mean, the money's ruining it slowly but surely anyway, because like I said, why should I bring in this, let this guy go out and pitch for the sixth inning when I'm paying this reliever $5 million to pitch the middle of the game?
Right.
Or, why should I leave him in for the shutout or for the win, complete game, because I'm paying the closer $20 million?
If you take all that away, Dave Roberts wouldn't know how to manage a ball game.
Yeah. Well, Fergie Jenkins, he's my pitching coach in Chicago one year, and he's like, dude, I had 34 complete games, one season. These guys don't have that in a 10-year career anymore.
I think I saw something on Twitter. It was like the 1980 A's had their staff, of the 5 guys on their staff, they had 94 complete games. And there was like 42 last year.
Well, look at it, innings pitched now. A high innings pitch guy is 250.
Yeah.
2 to 250. I mean, back in the day, it was 300-plus innings. And that's why you'll never see Joe DiMaggio's hit streak record broke. 56 games that ain't never touched.
Right.
Because now guys aren't facing the same guy 3 or 4 times. Hell, look at that Tampa. Tampa's wanting as soon as the pitcher faces the lineup twice, they get him out of there.
Yeah, they have middle relievers, setup men, closers, everything.
Well, to me, guys laugh. The easiest job in the bullpen is a closer. Guys look at me and go, what? That's where all the pressure is. Well, you know what? A, pressure is what you put on yourself. B, if you don't want to pitch when the game's on the line, you shouldn't even be out there. That's what it's all about.
And did you transition to just a reliever or a closer?
I went from basically a starter to a long reliever to a closer.
Okay.
And then
how is that?
primarily
Did that change any of your strategy, or did you still go out there?
Well, it changed into my routine, but as I said, closing's the easiest gig because you're not getting what we call dry humps, where they tell you in the anywhere from the 5th inning to the 8th or 9th inning, hey, get up and get ready for the third hitter. He's a righty, and if somebody gets on, you're coming in the game, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, and then they say, okay, sit down again, and then get up when he goes out for the next inning. Somebody gets on, you're coming in the game. You do that 2 or 3 times in a game, and you're spent. Right. It's almost like you pitched the game. And so, I was throwing something like 80 games a year, but I would warm up and what I said, get dry humps, and probably another 40 games, 30 to 40 games.
Wow.
That I didn't get in. So that's a lot of wear and tear on your arm. And if you're the closer, you don't get all that. The game dictates whether you're going to pitch or not. And I'm telling you, boys, if you haven't pitched in 3 or 4 days and you're a closer, they will call down and ask you if you want to throw an inning to stay sharp. And you can say yes or no. And
what was your answer?
And that's why, like a guy, obviously Mariano Rivera is an exception, but a Kimbrel, these guys have been closers since day one. Mariano was not a closer since day one. He relieved for Wetland. But for the most part of his career, he was a starter and then a closer, a setup guy. But he was able to have lots of longevity because he was primarily just a closer.
Is Mariano the best closer of all time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which is unbelievable because he had 1 pitch. And I'm going, I didn't see.
You're right.
How do you not cheat on a cutter? How do you not, if you're a lefty, just cheat and as soon as it's coming at you, just bail a little bit and turn on it.
Yep.
The guy was unbelievable. It was almost like he was a magician.
Luis Gonzalez is the only dude that ever got him. It feels like.
Yeah, and that was a broken bat, too.
I know. A little C&I single.
Earlier in our conversation, Turk, you mentioned some hitters, and some of them could be considered in the steroid era as users. You sound like a traditionalist, but I'm still going to let you talk about it. What do you think about the steroid era and the guys, if they should be in the Hall of Fame?
I do not think they should be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, let's just be honest. They know they're the ones that got to answer the questions to the day they die. They know what they did, and as great and nice a guy as Mark McGwire is. He's just a great guy. He came out and admitted he did steroids, but he made it seem like he was told he had to by the trainers, and he's the one that set up the interview to say, "Hey, I want to talk about this. I got to clear the air. I got to get it off my chest." And, the trainers didn't say, hey, Mark, come on in here. And, he's like, I had to do that to stay on the field, to stay healthy. Well, maybe he just shouldn't have played anymore. I thought that the interviewer, I don't know if it's Bob Costas, but he should have just asked him, do you feel you cheated? And if he said no, then I would have just simply said, well, why are we sitting here? Just so you can feel better about yourself clearing the air. And why don't you tell us, Mark, what are the ill effects your body feels right now from doing all that? And, why don't you give the money back that you made? I joke around with my buddies because, it was a steroid era, it was a cork bat era, it was a lot of amphetamine. I'm like, damn, I was a hell of a lot better than I thought. I'm just out there, I may drink half of a Pepsi or something before I go out with a little caffeine in me. But,
wait, you guys are cheating?
Well, there's been a lot of, I've had this discussion a lot, obviously, because I was pretty outspoken about it, but a lot of guys will, Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, and, and I said, well, that's a whole different issue. Pete Rose, probably the greatest hitter ever. Hands down. I'm not going to deny that. But people don't understand, ever since the Black Sox scandal and whatever it was, 1818 or 1918 or whatever it was, they came out with Article 21. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yes, I am.
But it's the first thing you see in every clubhouse. It's in a big, I don't even know the dimensions of it, but it's framed. It's what you see in the clubhouse. And that rule has been around since that whole Black Sox scandal. And Pete Rose played for 20, 26 years. He coached and managed, let's say another 15. So he's been around the game for 30, 40 years. So he knew that rule. But the thing that really solidifies it for me is a lot of people don't know this. Before opening day, or on opening day, before every Major League team takes the field, the general manager sits the entire team down in the clubhouse with all interpreters for any language barrier and reads Article 21 to the entire team word for word. So he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew the consequences. Now, you can be the greatest humanitarian in the world, and if you go out and kill somebody, you're going to prison. And, just because of that, I mean, he should not be in the Hall of Fame. He broke the rules deliberately, knowing what he was going to do. Whether he said he gambled on his own team to win every day, whatever, that's beside the point. And then he talks to the new commissioner about getting reinstated, and he asked him if he still bets on baseball, and he says yes. I mean, come on. I mean, you might have want to said no if you really wanted a chance.
Stupid is as stupid does, right?
Well, you just sit there and shake your head going, good Lord. You're still doing the same stuff you got in trouble for in the first place.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous.
Turk, couple things on that level. Did you ever run into Barry Bonds again after your 2004 when he said that if you want to say something, say it to my face, don't go through the media?
Absolutely.
Have you ever run into him?
That's a funny story.
Okay.
So, he called me a pussy and said if I had something to say it to his face. Well, truth be told, it wasn't like I got up on a soapbox and said to the reporter, hey, I got something to say and I want to say it. So that season, 2004, we're playing the Giants. We're in Colorado, and Preston Wilson's walking out of the weight room, and the door to the training room was parallel to the weight room. And I was walking out of the training room. Preston's coming out of the weight room, and he looks up, sees me. Preston's kind of smart ass. He goes, hey, Barry's in there. Why don't you go talk to him? So I looked up, and Bond saw me. He's like, yeah, MF, you got something to say? Come say it to my face. And there's probably maybe 6 or 8 people in the weight room. So I walked in, and I said, I'll tell you right straight to your face. I said what I said, and if you don't like it, that's too damn bad. I said, but I will apologize to you man to man that got in the papers, because that's not who I am. If I'm going to talk about steroids in baseball, you think you're the only guy I'm going to talk about? That reporter better have a lot of frickin' ink in his pen. Well, this reporter blindsided me. He just sat there and talked to me like he was a buddy of mine. Hey, what's your take on this whole Bonds thing? And I just simply said what I said. I didn't know he had a tape recorder taping it in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's what I told Barry. I'll apologize to you man to man that got in the papers. And, everyone in the weight room kind of stopped what they're doing. They're getting closer. They thought, maybe it was going to be a fight or something. But, he just really thought the whole thing was to ruin his career, tarnish him. I mean, that was his own doing. But I did follow up at the end, and I said, look, Barry, I said, you call me a pussy on national TV. The next time I face you, I will drill you. And whatever you think you want to do after that, fine. We'll just do whatever we need to do. But I'm going to drill your ass.
Hit him in his big old head.
Turk, I just want to hug you right now.
Man.
I'm telling you, dude, I love you.
You're making a whole lot of fans here in the Quad Cities right now, I'll tell you that.
Well, it is what it is, I mean...
Well, I mean, that's also
I have no regret.
That's baseball. That's life. That's people being people. Like, that's just how you should handle things.
Yeah. Well, and the saddest part about all of it, truly, you talked about Clemens, you talked about Bonds. Dude, those guys were so good they didn't have to do that stuff.
Right.
They didn't have to.
Can I don't want to jump around too much, Turk, but I want to go back to the gambling that you talked about, and I want to bring up something that Peter Gammons put out on Twitter the other day, 2 days ago, and because you talk about how Ed, the general manager, will sit down in front of the team and go through about the gambling and whatnot, but Peter Gammons wrote, per MLB's gambling deal, Managers have been told their daily lineups must first go to the commissioner's office, not to PR, not to media. Basically, the lineups are going to Vegas first before they make it to the media or to public relations. What do you think about that?
Vegas?
Yes.
Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah, with this whole new gambling change, with everything being legalized in every state, they're basically allowing everybody to bet games. I mean, it'll happen in Iowa soon.
Huh. I just think you're opening up a huge can of worms there for something bad to happen.
They're building a big 8,000 square foot sports book right out by you at that Prairie Meadows Casino.
Yeah, they are. And they're building one here in the Quad Cities as well.
It's definitely a venue I will never step foot in. I like to go to a casino and gamble every once in a while, but I get sad because I see people that losing money that I probably know can't afford to lose it. And I can just see how it can be so addicting. And I don't like that feeling. I like to have fun. My ideal gambling is playing Texas Hold'em with about 10 guys for $20. Everybody puts in $20. Hell, you can't even go to a movie for $20 anymore. You just sit around and play poker, for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, you can't. You can't go with Marvin for sure. He gets too much popcorn.
Well, Turk, I want to thank you for your time, and I would love to talk to you another time. You've just been a
Turk,
treat,
you've been the
an
best, man.
absolute treat. It's been awesome talking to you. I just want to remind everybody that it's March 16th from 10 to 2 p.m. It'll be at Genesis Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine, 1702 East 53rd Street, from 10 to 12. Turk's going to talk about baseball, kind of like he did here. Probably not as much dry humping talk or whatever else, but
hey, nothing wrong with dry humping talk.
He's going to talk about his baseball life from youth to college and to the pros. And then there's a light baseball themed lunch. And then from 12:30 to 2, he's going to be doing some drills, some game time preparation. He'll be doing some hands-on training for the youth in attendance. This is a free event. There's no need to RSVP. It's open to the public. Again, that's March 16th at 1702 East 53rd Street in Davenport, Iowa. Turk, thank you so much for making time for us today.
Hey, guys, no problem. Shout out to my buddy Kevin Welch for setting this whole thing up. And he knows how to get a hold of me if you guys want me to come on the show again, or you guys can follow me.
Hell, I want you to meet me at my bar and have a drink with me, man.
In the studio.
You know what?
Meet you at
ironically,
Chuck's.
I've never tried to drop of alcohol in my life. I'm as clean as a whistle, boys.
That's okay.
All right, I'll just talk to you and drink. That's fine. You don't have to drink.
If you come into town early on Friday and you want to be in studio with us the 15th, hey, that'd be great too. I'll talk to Welchie and everything. But Turk, thank you so much for everything.
You guys can't follow me on Twitter or anything, so I don't have any social media.
That's all right. I love it. That's perfect.
Yeah, we'll be in touch.
Old school.
That's right.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Turk.
Yep.
All right. Before we go to break, that was the best damn interview ever.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
I love that.
We did.
When we get off air right now, I'm gonna just scream and tell her I'm so happy.
What?
Right
Hug
now.
me?
I might tongue kiss you.
We got to thank Kevin Welch for that,
dude. That's awesome. That was great stuff. All right, Front Street Brewery, the oldest brew pub in the state of Iowa, is nestled beautifully along the bank of the mighty Mississippi and has served the fine community of Davenport since 1992. They have a lot of great beers on tap, such as their Davenport Gold, a satisfying American ale, the Wise Guy, they're taking an instantly recognizable German wheat, or the Raging River, an English-inspired American IPA. You can check out their Facebook page for food and drink specials or visit the webpage at www.frontstreetbrew.com. And right now we're calling all bars and restaurants to get some of that Front Street beer on your tap lines or in your coolers today. That's Front Street Brewery, 208 East River Drive, or the tap room in the Freight House Complex.
This is Merrick Brave from SCW Pro, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Quad Cities, get ready for WWE Live. Sunday night, April 21st at Moline's Tech Slayer Center in a double main event. Braun Strowman exacts revenge on Baron Corbin. He's gonna get these hands! Then in a triple threat match, Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, and Drew McIntyre face off for the Intercontinental Championship. Plus Sasha Banks and many more. Don't wait. Great seats are available now at the box office and Ticketmaster.
The wait is almost over. A storm is brewing. This is not a test. Hockey is fast approaching, and the Quad City Storm is about to unleash. If you want the same great seats for every game, you better prepare. Full and mini season tickets are available now. Single game tickets go on sale October 1st. Book your company or group outing in the party area. Raise money for your nonprofit. All while cheering on the Quad City Storm. Go to quadcitystorm.com for more information. That's quadcitystorm.com.
Car old? Need it sold? Get rid of that old car and do a good deed at the same time. It's the Arrowhead Ranch Annual Auto Auction coming soon to Coal Valley. That's right, it's back. Donate your car, truck, SUV, or motorcycle, and if you live within 40 miles of Coal Valley, they will even pick it up, even if it doesn't run. All donations are tax deductible. Call 309-799-7044 or visit them online at arrowheadyouth.org. Car old? Need it sold? Arrowhead Ranch Annual Auto Auction. Stay tuned for 2019 auction date in Coal Valley.
And now an old classic commercial from Mark Brenny.
And now, Mark Brenny of Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic in Bettendorf will use his 25 years of motorcycle expertise to help determine if you need a new Suzuki motorcycle.
Hey, Mark, I'll be first. Here's my old 900 drag bike.
Stand back, son. I'll check her out. Yes, sirree, boy. You need a new Suzuki.
Hey, Mark, here comes a group of really old choppers.
Howdy, boys. Mind if I check these out? You might need a new 1500 Intruder.
Suit yourself. Just rebuilt. Spent $22,000 on her, and she's my baby.
You know, they always run best just before they let go. Luckily, you guys got here just in time. Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic, 4426 State Street, Bettendorf, across from Alcoa.
Our refund is on the way. Time to get rid of this ugly siding.
I already called Outland Construction.
You mean Outland Buildworks?
They did so many home renovations last year, they changed their name to Outland Construction.
Can they renovate the kitchen?
Outland Construction does that.
The bathroom?
Outland Construction does that too. Wait a minute, I thought we were talking about siding. How big is this tax refund? Where are you going?
I'm calling Dave at Outland Construction.
Find Outland Construction on Facebook and message Dave to schedule your spring renovation projects today.
ESPN 93.5 is KJOC Bettendorf Quad Cities from the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studio. Now, back to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
And we're back in the Hassle Palace. Brought to you by Dunright Satellite and Dish. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us or Local here on ESPN 93.5. And now, joining us live from Cub Spring Training, we have Matt Fitzsimmons. Matt, welcome to the show, sir.
What's happening, gentlemen? Good afternoon.
Hey, thanks for calling in, Matt. How's things going down there at the Cactus League?
It's wonderful. It's been great. You guys don't want to hear this. It's a little chilly today. It's about 60.
Wait. How cold's chilly, Matt?
Well, you know, I've been used to 80s, so I'm about 20 degrees or colder today, so I'm just going to have to wear a coat to the ball game today.
Wow, I feel bad for you.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Yeah,
No, you're not breaking up. That's a joke. So,
I got to go to the opener of the Giants headquarters in Scottsdale a week ago Sunday, and the Cubs put it to the Giants 9-5. Sat in the front row, talked to Rizzo for most of that game.
What do you mean you talk to Rizzo? What do you guys just talk about? Stocks?
Stock options. Coming back. He said, I'm going to be a Cub forever, so most of the Cub fans will be happy to hear that. Today I'm headed over to Diablo to see the Sox. So it's been really interesting. My cousin runs the Giant headquarters, so he got me all free front row seats and all the goodies.
You're in Tucson right now, or?
I'm in Tempe right now, but I've been bouncing around from city to city and enjoying all of the baseball stuff. So I don't know. Love the show, you guys. It's great. I'm glad I finally got in. It's my first time I tried to. I must have a connection. I must know somebody, I think.
So how are the Cubbies looking right now?
Right now they're top. They got 9 wins. They're number 1 in the standings as far as wins go. I don't know about percentage, but they are on top. And so all the Sox are on the bottom, where I guess everybody will be happy to hear that too, even though I'm a kind of a Sox fan as well. But
Serge is a Sox fan, so no, you got a friend here.
That's right. It was interesting seeing Tommy Lastello on the Angels the other day. I was like, wow, that's kind of different, But other than that, it's just been one thing after another. There's rumors about Kimbrel possibly signing with the Cubs. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but Craig Kimbrel, I don't know. So I don't know if you guys heard anything at all today.
Yeah, we hadn't heard anything yet on that. Everybody's
That'd be probably nice to have a closer. I don't know if Morrow can get it done.
Jace is trying to sign us a 13-year contract here at the radio station. That's all we're trying to do.
That's great.
That's all I do is just try to sign 13-year contracts with everybody now.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's doing the long-term deals, That's the way to be. You're locked up.
Yeah, I mean, I've done 13 years of marriage. I could do a 13-year contract.
Yeah, that says it all right there. I've never been married. I'm single, no children. Just baseball and music for me.
This is fantastic, though. You just get to go around and watch spring training games and just hang out.
I've been here for 3 weeks, so I'm doing another week, and then I'll be coming back to the Quad Cities. And I was out here for Christmas and New Year's, and then I got home and decided, it's a little chilly there, so I think I'm going to head back to Arizona for a while.
Man, I want your life, man. What do I got to do?
You have to come with me, you guys, one or Jay, I don't know anybody.
I'll do it, man. You need somebody to carry your bag? I'll be right there, brother.
Right on.
Sit front row and talk to Rizzo. That's it, man. I want to live your life.
Yeah, it was great. Brandon Belt was really cool, and Brandon Crawford came over, shook kids' hands, and signed balls. I was just in shock at how wonderful my cousin had me set up. He has a group called the Charros, and they rent their headquarters to the Giants, so everything they make, and they raise about $1 million in charity a year, and they give it all back, so it was a wonderful experience.
Awesome.
So I can just plan on giving you guys a couple more calls, and next week you'll be off on the weekend, I suppose.
No, we'll be around next week. Yeah, we're on next week.
I got a sitter for the kid. I can't hang with that kid. She's 3, man. She destroys me.
Yeah, we'll be on next
week.
week.
Yeah, I miss my niece and nephew. They're 10 and 7, and yeah, I do miss you all there. I miss the pizza. There's no doubt about that. The best pizza is right there. There's no doubt about that.
Did you tell Brandon Crawford that you loved his work in Tombstone as he was one of the 2 Red Sash gang? Because he looks like
exactly. My buddy is with me. He's a Tombstone buff, and he's got the long duster and everything. And he was yelling lines from that. So Crawford, I said, "Hey, Craw," and he turned around and came over. Our hair's a little longer, so he came over and talked to us. So.
Yeah, that is awesome. So did you ask Rizzo any inside tips? Is he going to win the MVP this year, or what's
I think they're just hoping to be back in the hunt. The Giants, they're really pretty humble, and everybody's so laid back in spring training. That's the beauty of it. I'd only been one time prior, and I was in Palm Springs, California in the 80s. Remember the 80s, guys? I'm a little older than you.
I remember the 80s very well, brother. I don't know. I'm pretty
the
old.
Angels were over there, and I stayed there, and that park was great. I saw the Cubs there, and Sandberg came right up during the game and signed my stuff for me. So it's just everybody's in a great mood, and the weather's great, and it's just a wonderful time. Baseball's great.
That sounds like so much fun. Well, listen, let's set something up, and we'll talk next week too.
Great, you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll be in touch.
All right, man. Thank you.
Stay warm. Stay warm, buddy.
I will. I'll stay warm. I go get my coat. All right.
Thoughts and
Take care,
prayers,
gentlemen.
That's great.
In a couple minutes, we're gonna get a phone call from Dean. So why don't we get our break in real fast?
Okay.
So,
all right. Do you want the latest in TV and security technology but don't know where to start? Call Done Right TV and Security Solutions, your Dish Premier local retailer, and get started today. They'll take the guesswork out of choosing the latest in smart home technology with your budget in mind. Dish has been a leader in technology for years, and the Hopper Smart HD DVR interacts with your smart speaker to change channels, pause, and fast forward with just the sound of your voice. Sign up today and receive a Nest doorbell system free, courtesy of Done Right. Call 866-84-RIGHT today and let Done Right provide local professional installation with personal service that is trusted by thousands of businesses and homeowners in the Quad Cities. Requires an internet-connected Hopper, and restrictions do apply. That's Done Right TV and Security, 866-84-RIGHT.
This is UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local. on ESPN 93.5.
Sheedy Family Chiropractic is your choice for chiropractic care in the Quad Cities. From little leaguers to high school athletes and the weekend warriors, treating new injuries, muscle or joint problems, and chronic pain, we are committed to providing cost-effective care for your family's needs. Same-day appointments available most days for new patients and always $20 sports physicals. Sheedy Family Chiropractic, getting you back to work, play, and life. Call today or find us online at SheedyChiro.com. That's SHEEDY Chiro.com.
Dynamic Power Racing Technology is a one-stop shop for all your street and racing needs. Better handling routine maintenance or more power, Dynamic Power offers a complete in-house machine shop with computerized balancing, dyno testing, and cylinder head repair. From full engine rebuilds to brand name parts, at Dynamic Power, we work with you to give you the best build for your budget. Track tested, customer approved. Dynamic Power in Moline. Call 762-2323. That's 762-2323.
An advance purchase River Bandits ticket is $7, and a Ferris wheel ride is $5. But what if your kids could have tickets to every River Bandits game all season long for just $30? They can if they join the River Bandits Kids Club. Sound like a great deal? And there's even 3 Ferris wheel rides and a free Bandits drawstring backpack, all for just $30. But wait, there's more. Each Kids Club member gets 10% off in the team store all season long, and invitations to exclusive monthly kids parties featuring water balloon fights with the players and ice cream socials so kids can meet other Bandits fans, plus a free invitation to Rascal's birthday party, all for just $30. The River Bandits Kids Club, presented by Modern Woodmen of America. Every game, all season long, and 3 Ferris wheel rides. Just $30. Visit riverbandits.com/kids club to sign up. The River Bandits at Modern Woodman Park, where the fun never stops.
Sensitivity, understanding, and a tradition of kindness and caring. It's so important when a family loses a loved one. Call on us, Wheeland Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, for all your service needs. You have our single-minded attention to every detail. With a range of choices and services available, our professionalism, and our deepest sympathy. Wheeland Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, Rock Island, Milan, Reynolds, and the Knox Chapel.
St. Ambrose University invites you to attend the preview dinner on Saturday, April 13th. Start the night with a glass of wine while you mingle with friends, then experience a 3-course meal expertly paired with wines from the featured vintner, Pendricelli Winery. After dinner, enjoy entertainment along with live and silent auctions for an amazing bottle of wine or a trip for 4, and every dollar goes to support student scholarships. Tickets are $140 and include admission to the May 18th wine tasting. For more information, visit sau.edu/winefest. See you April 13th at the St. Ambrose University preview dinner.
Now, back to Don't Hassle Us. We're local on ESPN 93.5.
Break it down.
And we are back in the Hassle Palace, brought to you by Dunright Satellite and Dish. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local here on ESPN 93.5.
Yeah, so that was great. Matt calling in from...
Dude, back-to-back great calls, by the way.
He could live in the life just going around spring training games. That makes me so happy. And then Turk talking about baseball the way it was, it makes me so happy because, we still have all the snow out there, and it's, 40 degrees out today, and you feel like you could go outside.
Yeah, it's a heat wave here.
Yeah. So
having a heat wave, tropical heat wave.
40 degrees and windy. What a nice day, finally.
Yeah, it does feel good, dude. Seriously, it did.
60 degrees, boo-hoo.
I know, dude. I'd walk in shirtless out there just for the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Showing that all off.
All of it.
Every bit of it, Jay.
Okay.
I see you looking.
Yeah, while we're waiting for a call in from Dean, why don't we come up with a Hassle Streak bet?
Because I lost.
You lost. You did not. You took the points in Iowa, Wisconsin.
Bobby Metcalf was so mad at me.
Yes.
For taking Iowa.
Well, it was Wisconsin senior night or whatever. It's like
whatever.
You didn't.
I don't like Wisconsin. I don't like that stinking state.
You homer.
You like Wisconsin's not a bad state.
It's better than Illinois.
Well,
it doesn't suck as much as Nebraska.
There you go.
It's still Wisconsin.
You want me to do my streak now? Or?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, do your streak bet.
Play your song or something? Or?
It's not God's country.
It's 2 at top,
Jay always
middle.
gets a song, an entrance song, a pick song.
Yeah, what are you doing, Marvin? Come on, man.
Confidence song.
Oh, there we go.
Now, you just got to remind everybody to go to mybookie.com. Use our promo code QCHassle. That's QCHASSLE. They will match 50% of your deposit up to $1,000. And if you do that now using our promo code, you'll get $20 in casino chips, and you'll get an entry into their March Madness tournament. So use our promo code QCHassle at mybookie.com. You win. They pay. That's the MyBookie way. Serge, what do you like tonight?
Well, I'm not taking anything in the NBA.
Why not?
It's tanking time.
Okay.
You never know what teams are going to do. Right as you think they're going to tank, all of a sudden, 12th place team beats a 3rd place team. It's too unpredictable. NCAA is where it's at tonight. Taking Maryland. Here they got a really good big guy. Maryland -7 at home against Minnesota. That's my pick. Maryland's way better. I'm sorry. And being at home last week of the season, or last week of regular season, before the tournament, I think that's a lock. I think they're going to win by 20. But it's just -7, so that's my pick.
At some point, when we're going to talk to Dean, but we should guess the lines. I haven't looked at anything all week long. I've been waiting for you, for this to happen to you, Roy.
All right. I'm ready. So what's the first game on the docket?
The Orlando Apollos at the Birmingham Iron, Saturday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, buddy.
The undefeated Apollos
at
versus
Birmingham.
the 3-1 Iron.
Iron are starting to show some rust. Look at that.
But they're not, though.
This game is going to be
lost
played.
to Memphis.
Game is going to be at 1 o'clock on Saturday on TNT. It will be on TNT.
All right, this game will be on TNT, and that just means everybody will be able to see Jaybirds, Orlando Apollos go 4-0.
5-0.
5-0, whatever it is.
So what do you think the line is?
I'm going to say Orlando -9.
No.
Thanks.
No, Orlando -6.5.
Jay's going to get this one. It's Orlando -5.5. No love. This is going to be a good game.
Huh.
You guys got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, but, we talked yesterday, Birmingham, it's the quarterback problem.
Yeah, that's why
All right, well, we're going to have to take a break right there. Go ahead, hit it. You're on the air, ESPN 93.5. This is Dean?
Hey, this is Dean.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm sorry that we got a little bit out of schedule, but we're good to go now.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all right. We're just in the middle of doing a little bit of guessing the lines for this week for the Alliance. So don't spoil it for us because we haven't looked at any lines all week long. I don't know how we made it this long, but then we're gonna make our guesses for who we think's gonna win this week. But I reached out to a couple people and you reached back out to me because I want to kind of do a state of the Alliance where we're at here. I know week 5 is the midway point, but I figured just as good to do it now because you don't know if on week 10 if some teams are going to be sitting down, if Orlando's going to clinch something then. But before that, Dean, you have a Quad City background.
I do have a Quad City background. I was a play-by-play announcer for a team in the old AF2. Probably the worst collection of AF2 the players weren't bad. There were just some things. The old Fort Wayne Fusion, and things were so bad that season. And I don't remember if it was Quad City, but one of the trips, because we didn't have any money, because the league brought some owner in that kind of fed them a bill of goods, we were traveling to Green Bay. We were traveling to Quad City late in the season. Couldn't eat anywhere unless it was in Quad City or Green Bay because of the trade agreements with the teams. And we literally were having lunch meat sandwiches on the way instead of stopping at restaurants because we didn't have any money. And it was easier to pay, $10, $15 for lunch meat and bread than it would be to pay, $250 for a meal somewhere.
Oh boy, I know who you're referring to, by the way.
Yeah. So you, I guess I mistook that. I thought maybe you were here calling for the Quad City.
No. I did come to it was the iWireless Center then, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Great game. Our coach and I won't tell you his name was, that went for it on fourth down so much that I just called him fourth down instead of touchdown, and it just got to be a comedy of errors for that season. And at the conclusion of that trip, the final game of the season, the bus driver cussed him out Bob Knight style. If you remember the Sunday school picnic tape that's going around where Bob Knight says to his players, if you think this year was bad, this will be a Sunday school picnic in comparison to next year. That's pretty much how the bus driver went off on the coach. One of the greatest moments in my broadcasting career, and I wish I would have had a tape, but it would have been all beefs.
So, Dean, how did you, I mean, your After Further Review podcast, you do talk about the NFL, but how did you get involved with talking about the Alliance?
Well, I just saw it as a great opportunity, and I thought, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but here's probably, and I went with my gut on it, and I thought, you've got football people putting together a football product, you got NFL guys involved. I think this thing may go. We've had so many spring football conglomerations, and it just, and the USFL was a pretty decent run. But I just had a gut feeling that something was going to work about this, and I can't put my finger on it, and it still may not work. But I really like the AAF approach to this because they're very transparent. And, of course, a few weeks ago, we had the infusion of $250 million by Tom Dundon, and it was a perfect storm. And I really believe it was a perfect storm where you've got a payroll glitch, and that's what the league said. And the reason why I do believe that that's truly, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. We always know that the truth isn't always 100% the truth, and the lie isn't 100% a lie. But because everybody that I talked to around the league said the same story, and they said the story so quickly that I don't think the league had a time to put together a workshop on what talking points to send out. So that's why I believe that, it was in fact a case of the Tom Dundon, the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, and a number of other business operations, watching the league and says, okay, I'm going to put $250 million into this thing over the course of several years or whatever. I mean, it's not $250 million immediately. The other reason why I don't think it was just a stopgap thing, because my rough estimates say this is probably an $80 million a year investment for the 8 teams, $10 million a team. So that would put you out 2 or 3 years, worst case scenario. Also, payroll for all the players, some 500 players, and we're just going to say 500 players at 52-man rosters, is probably $3 to $5 million. If you're on the ropes, you don't get $250 million. You get $10 million, or you get $5 million. You get $7 million. So that's why I believe it was a legitimate investment, and I don't think the league was in trouble. Now, granted, it's a startup, so you're always going to need to have new investors, and you're always going to have to reinvent the wheel. But I don't think in my heart of hearts that the league is in jeopardy or was in jeopardy even before the $250 million. But that's my opinion, and I'm not an advocate for the league just because I like the league.
Yeah, I don't think either. I think you're right. If you're struggling, they'll keep you above water. I think Bill Polian, I believe, came out this week and he said this investment, this $250 million, will make them sustain easily for 4 to 5 years with this investment.
And I don't think there's any question about that. Bill Polian is a smart guy. I mean, and they knew, and they're not stripping on football money. I mean, I've talked to some of the coaches in conference calls, and they said, do you have to cut back? Is it like the NFL? And they're like, almost in every possible way in terms of equipment and facilities. Maybe we don't have as many balls per game, but in terms of facilities and things that we're given, there really isn't any noticeable difference between the NFL in terms of what they have to do for football operations.
And I think kind of just what you said, getting involved in it was the same thing that we did here. And right away when we started following it, I mean, from jump of when they announced that they were going to have a league, we were all on board. Where are you out on the East Coast, Dean?
I'm actually in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, okay, all right. You're just in Eastern time. Okay, so you're in Fort Wayne. So you're kind of paddling the same boat as us. We don't have a team. We don't have a team around here, so to speak. So it's not there's not as big of a following of the Alliance right now. And it's kind of what Charlie Ebersol said he was going to do. He said he was going to underpromise and overproduce. So that's why there hasn't been a lot of, people, an influence of it just doesn't feel like a lot of people around here in the Quad Cities knows a lot about the Alliance, if you understand what I'm saying.
I would say that's accurate, unless you're a football person, and football people know every league there is out there because every football person is trying to get involved with every football league. If you played, you're always going to continue to want to play somewhere, and if you're a broadcaster, you kind of always look for opportunities for what's coming down the pike. So unless you're really intricately involved with football, I would have to agree with that. And unless you're really intricately interested in football and a fan in the purest sense, there's been some criticism that I've heard about games not being offensive enough or the quarterback play isn't crisp. And again, I'm not here to defend the league, but it's not the NFL. And we know that. It's 5 games in. It's 4 games in, actually. And we have teams that have good offenses. We've had teams that have offenses that are sputtering. I think you have to look at it in perspective of that. And I also think, to the person that is concerned about a team being entertaining because of its offense, well, and I'm not a soccer fan, but there's a lot of people that like soccer and like a lot of 1-0 games, and a lot of people like 1-0 baseball games. So I think sports fans like the strategy. I think they like the stories of the game. I don't think they're going to the games because they get to see a lot of scoring. And to me, if you're inflating it with a lot of scoring, doesn't that make it kind of artificial?
Yeah.
And I'm with you wholeheartedly on that. And the fact that the way they did it with setting it up where the players that play for each prospective team are coming from basically that general area. So you already have local people that should know names. I think that is the key in building a fan base, at least.
Yeah, they've done a good job of that. And they've even pushed it a little further. Mike Singletary is in Memphis. We've got Mike Riley, who coached in San Antonio in the old CFL days when the CFL made a push to the NFL, or to America, or the USA. They would consider themselves America, too, to the U.S. in, 94-ish. And they had 4 or 5 teams in the CFL. Mike Riley was a coach there. We've got Steve Spurrier. When you think of Spurrier, you can't help but think of Florida and Central Florida and playing for the Bucks and the USFL days, and, of course, with the Gators. And, of course, for Spurrier, everybody has visors now in Orlando. It's just, he didn't have a visor, though, in the snow game last week in Salt Lake. And I still think, we're in 2019. How come you can't make a snow visor?
Well, Jay's a big visor guy, so if it's going to happen, Jay Fox will develop it. Yeah, you are.
I'm not a big visor guy. Don't listen to him, Dean.
He's an Orlando Apollo fan.
I've got a friend who wears visors everywhere, and I don't have the guts to tell him. And sometimes he puts it backwards, sometimes he puts it upside down. Yeah, and I'm like, dude, you look like you're wearing a French fry scraper.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But he doesn't get it. And like the guy's a couple years younger than me, and I'm not a spring chicken, and I don't even wear my hats on backwards because some rules I have in life, I already know that I'm a goofball. I don't need to enhance it more, so I don't wear a hat on backwards. Because what's going to happen is somebody's going to come up to me and say, "Oh, are you catching the second game of the doubleheader today?" Stuff like that happens to me.
Well, there's 2 goofballs in the studio, so don't worry about it, though.
I've got my hat on backwards right now, Dean. But no, and I would catch the second game of the doubleheader if it was the option.
And I would too. I mean, let's be honest here.
So, are you going to be following in a year the XFL?
I'm not sure. I'm kind of the USFL and how they did things the first time left a sour taste in my mouth. However, I still have my He Hate Me jersey.
That's great.
That a boy.
But I don't know. They keep telling me that it's going to be different. It's going to be football. It's not going to be the gimmicks. Apparently they have the money. Apparently they've got TV deals they're working on. Apparently they're going to have bigger budgets. And I've heard people say, well, you're going to get bigger players, bigger name players. I'm going to watch. But, it's not like they're going to get Tom Brady. It's not like you're going to get Joe Montana to come out of retirement. It's not like, okay, you might get, a second-string quarterback to play in that league. But
maybe
I don't know. Right. It's not like the USFL that would get people like Herschel Walker and Reggie White and Doug Flutie and, Jim Kelly, guys like that. I can't see that happening. And again, having a football league is a multi-million-dollar operation, maybe even close to $1 billion operation when you start taking it out. So I can't imagine that there's going to be much difference in quality. Then the other question I have, and I know that that's not the point of our discussion, but what happens to those indoor leagues that we know all around? Quad City has one, the Arena League. What happens to the quality of players there?
Well, I think, like we were talking about this like a week ago. The thing is you have Vince McMahon, and for lack of a better word, he's a snake oil salesman.
Right.
He's just a little greasy, and you don't get that feeling on what's coming out of the AAF. Like you said, a lot of ex-NFL guys involved. A lot of thought went into this. People with real NFL knowledge. It feels to me like the NFL is 100% behind it, and obviously it is with some of the other discussions they have coming around with, players coming in and being able to get some reps, whatever else. It really was disappointing to us to see ESPN kind of poo-poo all over this as a network, because obviously their hitch is tied to the snake oil salesman, the XFL. But I think the XFL is coming in, Johnny come lately, really not going to have a chance of producing, I think, even as close of a product to what the AFF is.
And I agree with you there. I think the AAF really hustled to put a product together, because there used to be a theory in marketing, and there still is, that the first one is always perceived as the best. It's the old rental car company, and tells you how good their marketing is. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember if it was Davis or Hertz.
It was Hertz.
Their slogan was, we try harder.
Yeah.
So that's what the XFL is going to have to do, because their perception is they were second to the AAF, and I think that was a brilliant move. And was the AAF ready to play? Yeah. Could it have been better? Yeah. We saw the first week, and I don't know how much time you spent on the league website, but they didn't have the stats up. It's not because they weren't there. They just wanted to make sure that they were at the quality that they wanted to. And I'll tell you something about the AAF, too, that really impresses me. I'm just some guy from Indiana who has no major stake in the AAF. They don't need to treat me like anything. I'm just basically a podcaster, so they don't need to. I'm not CBS coming into them. I'm not Bob Costas. I'm not anybody like that.
Well, you still have the voice of an angel to me, buddy.
Well, thank you. But when I call the league office, they put me in touch with somebody, and it is never any trouble to get an answer to a question. And we've got some very strong allies in the AAF, and I don't think it's because of me. I think because they're good people that want to do the right thing, and also because they've got a product to promote. But I had a chance to talk a couple weeks ago with Jake Jacobson, and it's on the podcast, and he gave me like 40 minutes, and we talked about everything in terms of the business side of the AAF, talked about the sponsorships that they got, talked about getting deals with top football cards, talked about how starter jackets had come back. You remember having a starter jacket in the 80s or the 90s?
Jay has like 5 of them.
Stop. Tell him, don't stop lying to Dean. Okay.
I love him so much that I got an Orlando Magic one, and I still don't know why I got an Orlando Magic one, but it was cool. But I got it for like $50, and I wore it around like I was the coolest guy, and everybody knew I wasn't. But, starter jackets were the best thing ever.
Absolutely,
and
they were.
They're back. They've got them. They've got some other sponsorships coming in, and I said, was it hard to get sponsors? And they said, no, not really, because we took a different approach. And their approach was, and they weren't bashing the NFL, but it was more of the NFL in some ways to businesses is very prohibitive because of the dollar amount to get in or the restrictions that you have to make in order to sign a deal with the NFL. And one of the questions that Jake Jacobson, he also goes by the name of Mark, but he goes by, he said that when we sit down with people, we ask them a question, and it kind of throws them off. The question that we ask them is what would you like to do that you've not been able to do in other partnerships and other sponsorship deals? And almost to a person, every time that they ask that of a potential partner, a potential sponsor, their mouth drops and says, "Are you really asking this?" And they say, "Yeah, because we want to be a different type league." So they get into a discussion. I mean, Starter's a major sponsor of the league, and you see the guys with the starter jackets everywhere. They look like $1 million. You know, they a little more expensive than when I paid for them back then, but they're still great. We've got Topps cards that are going great. People are talking about the ratings numbers. They're saying, "Oh, they're paltry." And yeah, they aren't great numbers as you compare them to the Super Bowl. But as you compare them to other established things, such as NBA games, they're pretty comparable. And they're growing. See, that's the thing that people don't really want to talk about, is how they're growing. We look at numbers, and most of us just want to make a quick answer. We don't want to look at trends because that's just too hard, and sometimes we just don't have the time. But I think the league is doing the right things. And again, I have no stake in what the league's doing. They haven't given me talking points or anything like that, and I certainly would never want to be an apologist for the league. But for the most part, I would probably give them an A-, maybe a B+, A-. But I think, first year out, starting from nothing, I think the league has done a great job of doing what they need to do.
Yeah, I agree. And if you listen to Charlie Ebersol talk about it, I mean, he points out that it took like 22 years for Major League Soccer to really hit it big to where franchises were in the millions to buy one. So, just like you said, it's not going to be an overnight thing. It just has to establish itself for what it is. And as you said at the very beginning of this interview, they are transparent at what they're doing. That they are trying to develop talent for the NFL. And I think if they can eventually work this situation where maybe backups such as your Mason Rudolph could come down to play to get those reps, to get those in-game reps, it's going to make it much better for everybody involved.
And I think that's a fantastic point, much like the CBA, I'm sorry, not the CBA, but much like, the CBA used to be, but how the G League is now, where you get players that are set down there, largely minor league teams. It wouldn't be the same way for the AAF, but you get guys down there and getting reps. How many guys are good enough to have played in the NFL, but didn't, simply because they didn't get enough snaps, because they maybe turned 27 and they maybe took 5 passes in 3 years in the NFL?
Yeah.
And you just move on because it's just the economics of age.
And look at, you can look at Charles Johnson, the receiver for Orlando Apollos, how he's benefiting from this. Former NFL player. Yeah. So
I mean, he's taken the league by storm. Now, I'm going to tell you this, and I have no issue with Trent Richardson. He has been great to me in conference calls that I've had with him. I like the guy. I think he had an unfortunate NFL career where, he didn't develop. And I think even though he's leading the league in touchdowns, he is also probably the least efficient of any runner in the league. He has rushed 67 times for about 280 yards. So when you're talking about touchdowns per carry, it's very low, but touchdowns per yard, it's pretty high. In fact, he has the most carries of anybody in the AAF, with the fewest yards of anybody in the top 6 or 7. It might even be top 8. I don't have the stats in front of me. The guy that's next, who has 66 carries, probably has 60 to 80 yards more than him. Again, this is unofficial, but you can look at the stats. Yeah. It's clear that he's just not productive. But everybody's saying, Trent Richardson's going to get back to the NFL. No, I don't really think he is. He's 28. He's going to be 29 yet this year. He's not really producing like an NFL team would have to stop and say, and we have to get him back. He's essentially doing what he did when he was in the NFL, other than now he's scoring.
Yeah, 28 is, I don't think he's going to be headed back anytime soon.
Yeah, 30 is the magic number, so he's,
And we've got so many great running backs coming out every year. That's probably one thing that you can count on every year in the NFL draft is good running backs. So it doesn't really look good for him.
Now, if I have to hold your feet to the fire and have you make a prediction, tell me who's going to be playing for the championship at the end of the season.
At the beginning of the year, and I didn't publicly say this, but in my mind, I thought it was going to be Orlando and Arizona, and I'm still going to stick with that. Two great coaches in Steve Spurrier Warrior, who I was told that he plays chess when everybody else is playing checkers, and we can certainly see that in the league right now. And the hot shots in Arizona with Rick Neuheisel as a coach, who I think was very underrated as a coach and probably one of the funniest guys in football if you've ever seen any of the parody songs that he's done.
No, I have not seen it.
We have not.
But you've got to. You've got to go to YouTube and look for Rick Neuheisel college football songs. And that's my first podcast. We got Rick Neuheisel on, and I play like 2 or 3 snippets from 2 or 3 of his songs, and they're just absolutely hilarious. He picks up a guitar, and he just he plays them for the host. It's just hilarious.
We'll have to check that out.
I'll
Dean,
send you the link.
Yeah, thank you. Dean, send me the link, and then we'll put something on our Facebook and our ESPN935.com. Dean, we have to let you go, unfortunately, but we will be in touch. So let's right about the time of playoffs and everything, let's talk again. Is that cool?
Anytime. You can talk to me every week if you want. It'd be boring, but you can talk to me every week.
It's not boring at all, Dean.
brother.
I will be in touch with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Take care, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's Friday, and everybody's looking forward to happy hour. Van's Pizza Pub and Grill has great happy hour specials for you from 3 to 6, featuring $2 wells, $2 domestic drafts, and $3 crafts and imports. And tonight you can also enjoy $3 Long Island iced teas and $3 margaritas with a Van's specialty pizza. Get any of the Van's food items to go. Just visit vanspizza.net to check out the menu, and then call Good to Go Quad Cities at 322-2220, or place your order online at goodtogoqc.com. Grab these specials and more at 3333 North Harrison Street or 217 Brady Street in downtown Davenport. That's Van's Pizza Pub and Grill. Come get served.
When we come back, we're going to have the man who's always on the go, Adam Rosso from WHBF Hawkeye headquarters. He's going to talk NFL Combine and Madison last night. So when we come back from this quick break, let's go.
Your garage is cluttered. Instead of a place to park your car, you've got sports equipment, lawn tools, half-finished projects, and a workbench that hasn't been touched in years. Tailored Living of the Quad Cities can take your garage from clutter and chaos to functional and fun. Whether you want a killer man cave or just to get clean and organized with an epoxy floor and custom garage cabinets, we've got you covered. Hi, I'm Amy. Schedule your free in-home consultation at tailoredliving.com, and you and I will design the garage of your dreams.
Dynamic Power Racing Technology is a one-stop shop for all your street and racing needs. Better handling, routine maintenance, or more power, Dynamic Power offers a complete in-house machine shop with computerized balancing, dyno testing, and cylinder head repair. From full engine rebuilds to brand-name parts, at Dynamic Power, we work with you to give you the best build for your budget. Track-tested, customer-approved. Dynamic Power in Moline. Call 762-2323. That's 762-2323.
And now an old classic commercial from Mark Brenny.
We're out in the great north woods of Scott County with outdoorsman and part-time motorcycle maniac Mark Brenny of Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic in Bettendorf to see what he does in the off-season. Hey, Mark, what are you doing up in that tree?
Hunting deer. Don't want my family to starve this winter.
So, what's all that equipment you have there?
Well, there's my thermos, my Walkman Game Boy, pork and beans, microwave, newspaper, well, and of course my trusty gun.
So, how'd you get all that out here?
Only one way. Got me a new Yamaha 4-wheel drive all-terrain vehicle. Made it in one load. Comes with front and rear racks, A-frame suspension, shaft drive. I even put a camouflage cover on this one.
Okay, so what's with the snowplow?
Well, you never know. Hey, wait, I see a deer.
Mark, that deer is as small as my dog.
So, watch this shot.
Oh, Mark, I think you missed.
Well, that's how most deer hunts go. So let's just ride Yamaha 4-wheelers the rest of the day. Hey, wait, there's another one.
See them at Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic, 4426 State Street, Bettendorf, across from Alcoa.
Did I hit it?
Almost.
Our refund is on the way. Time to get rid of this ugly siding.
I already called Outland Construction.
You mean Outland Buildworks?
They did so many home renovations last year, they changed their name to Outland Construction.
Can they renovate the kitchen?
Outland Construction does that.
The bathroom?
Outland Construction does that too. Wait a minute, I thought we were talking about siding. How big is this tax refund? Where are you going?
I'm calling Dave at Outland Construction.
Find Outland Construction on Facebook and message Dave to schedule your spring renovation projects today.
Are you retired? Don't want full-time? Have a CDLA? We've got the perfect job for you. This is Eric at Winger Truckline, where flexible home time really means something. You don't have to drive for us full-time. Tell us when you want to work. Work the days you want. At Winger Truckline, we respect you and what's important to you. Drive for Winger and you'll see. We say what we mean, and we mean what we say. Call me today at Winger Truckline, 800-593-6433, or visit drivewtl.com.
ESPN 93.5 wants you to be an insider. Access great contests and giveaways and be in the know at ESPN935.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged, and ESPN Quad Cities. From local to global, ESPN 93.5 has you covered with your Quad Cities sports talk show. It's Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Talk sports with your favorite foursome, T-Roy, Jay-Bird, Serge, and you. Weekdays from noon to 2 on ESPN 93.5. Now, back to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. And we're back in the Hassle Palace, brought to you by Dunright Satellite Dish.
Memories.
And starter jackets and flat bills.
Feel like I'm upstairs at Lolly's in the district.
Good Lord. This is Don't Hassle Us, our local here on ESPN 93.5. Did you just reference Lolly's?
In the district.
In the district.
It's been 17 bars since that.
No. I think it's burned down since then, too, hasn't it?
I don't know. All right, Rosso, how was the combine, my friend?
Good. I mean, I think I've told you guys this before. It's one of my more favorite events to cover just because of everybody's a little more relaxed, especially compared to a lot of NFL things. But even the Iowa guys, they're pretty buttoned up during the season, during the week. Every Tuesday we talk to them, obviously, and then Saturdays after the games. And they're just a little bit more relaxed. They have a little more to say, a little more personality. And, it gives good story, good content for us on Hawkeye Headquarters. But B, it just gets a little bit more kind of into their, I don't want to say personal lives, but just kind of into their background and into different stuff and just kind of maybe their personality. So, obviously Fant and Hawkinson were the talk of that one day. Even the day before they ran and did all the drills, like that was kind of, they were both on the main podium. If you guys can picture basically a huge convention center ballroom, if you will. I think there's 9 podiums or something like that, 7.
Right.
They're both on podium 1, and right. So when Hawkinson, Fant, and then right after that is Kyler Murray, and there's a swarm of people already gathering around Hawkinson and Fant. I got my tripod and camera set up, and then the nice thing is, when you're focused on Iowa guys, I just bounced. I would have listened to Kyler, but there's other stuff to do there, so I didn't get a chance to.
You couldn't see him.
Well, the microphone was blocking him, right? Did you see the heightened? He might have. People are accusing him of heightening himself.
Yep.
How do you do that?
I think you put stuff in your shoes. Yeah.
Marvin? Do you ever heighten yourself?
That's a Seinfeld episode, isn't it?
I think so, right?
Yeah.
But so
beautiful today.
I really, I don't know. I get a kick out of it. And I don't know if you guys have seen the ESPN.com article of Wright Thompson, who's fantastic. He's the guy that did that profile on Tiger a couple of years back. He kind of went inside the combine and basically chronicles what goes on there, and just like, it's a big networking event at night, right? Get your steak, you get shrimp cocktail at St. Elmo, and, and you see people, you hear some rumors, you just kind of, chum it up with people, and I think that's another cool aspect of it. I mean, the thing with his article is basically saying, is it necessary? Is any of this necessary? Because, they're saying he brought up New England, like they hit on X amount of their draft picks. That I think it was like there's 2 or 3 draft picks still on their team from a couple of years ago that were picked, right? And the rest are undrafted free agents, or they're free agents, or they're X, Y, and Z acquired. So he basically is saying, is this necessary? But then he wraps it up with saying, well, maybe it is, because it's kind of it's hard to explain, because like I really like it, but it's superficial in a way. But then for the prospects and the players and the coaches, it's kind of a preview of how the league is. Like it's constant.
It's constant PR.
It's constant buzz. It's constant creating this mega thing that the NFL
you're
dominates the news cycle all the time. So when a guy jumps, when DK Metcalf runs 4.31 or 4.33, it blows up. Well, when his 3-cone time is one of the worst in in the combine of all the receivers, nobody says anything because it's all about marketing. It's all about this PR machine and the way people handle themselves. And if, Wright Thompson brought up a lot of the questions in these combine interviews circle around how much do you love football? How much do you want to play? How much do you need to play? Are you supporting your family? Are you just doing this because you're a really good athlete? Are you invested? And that's why they miss on guys like Tom Brady. That's why nobody drafts him early, because it's hard to measure stuff like that, right?
Well, yeah, and when do you stutter? Do you laugh? Do you look at someone sideways when they ask you if you have both testicles? That's, I mean, what a question is that? Just to try to.
Somebody asked somebody that had 2 testicles.
Yeah, you remember this? Remember last year the big talk? It was about their mom's past and whatever else.
Well, that was Des Bryant quite a few years ago.
And then there was somebody
time.
about
last year.
One of them was asking him about being homosexual.
Yeah,
that
was one last year.
Right?
Yeah. Do you like men? And then this year was, do you have both testicles? Talk like it. So, like when you're walking around though, and
see, I'd just be like, "Come feel."
I don't think that's how you want to talk to a potential employer.
Maybe I don't want to work for that guy. Yeah. If he's going to grab my balls.
I just feel like after Fant and Hawk run those 40s and you're walking around and like all of a sudden people are talking to you like you did, like, hey, those Iowa boys, huh?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I did it. And they're like not patting you on the back.
It's funny. You see the same people, right? So, there are a couple reporters from, I don't know if it's the San Francisco TV or newspapers, and then some Niners reporters. And, they're asking me about Kittle. They're asking those guys about Kittle. And they're like, oh, yeah, this must be great for you. Like, we love George, and he's great for us. And, like, these guys, like, we're trying to get it out of them, like, about that connection to George, how much they talk to him. So those type of connections, yeah, obviously they're like, wow, this is great for you because of the exposure and the amount of...
Did you tell him you knew George Kittle's life coach? Pat Anger.
The amount of buzz for that stuff, like, and I said that on... What day they run? Saturday morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
The amount of exposure for the Iowa football program, the amount of hours and the amount of words that got spoken about them that day, priceless. Priceless. You couldn't pay somebody to market the program as well as that did for the 3 hours on NFL Network.
No, it was great. And Kirk still couldn't make the top 25 in the hack athletic.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I think I told you guys this last year. I wrote a little rant about it last year. I haven't had time this year because I've been running around, as you said, but... it's just the little things like, so one night my microphone was kind of messing up. I'm recording a stand-up for the package. And here's Bryce Love literally running sprints. I'm sitting on a chair with my computer plugged in. He's running sprints in the hallway. My microphone's messed up, so I had to re-record something. I set up my tripod camera in the same spot where he's running because I recorded it before he started. I'm like, hey, man, I got to do this. He's like, oh, I'm sorry I'm in your way. I'm sorry in your way. And I'm like, are you running tomorrow? Like, how's the knee? And you just strike up like a, 60-second conversation with Bryce Love, asking him how his rehab is, how his knee is, what he's telling teams. And, he's very cordial. And then I go back to my work. He goes back to his work, and away you go. And I just feel like that aspect to me, I've told you guys that. That's what I'm saying. That's why the combine's so cool, because you can do that. You can go ask TJ how's it going. You can talk to Monty Hooker.
I'm going with you next year, dude. I'm carrying your bag.
And it's
all right. Deal.
I love it. Like, it's great. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's and the coaches. I heard Jim Schwartz. And I didn't catch who he's talking to because I was focused on something else. All of a sudden, I hear him in the hallway say, "Oh man, we had a great game plan that game, but Carson Wentz just played like." S or else we thought we would have won. And I'm like looking, I'm like, oh man, who's he talking to? Like, who's he, whatever. And then I'm like, oh, I wonder what game he's talking about, how bad Wentz played, and like racking my brain, like, okay, what Eagles games did I watch? And like, where was Wentz underperforming? You know what I mean?
That had to have been the playoff game they lost, right?
Oh no, Foles played though.
Oh, that's right.
So, like, I'm going back and I'm like, maybe it was against the Vikes because the Vikes played really well that game, and maybe Schwartz was happy with how they played against the Vikings offense and Wentz didn't play well. Or maybe it was the first time in New Orleans they got ran off the field, but that's the type of stuff where as like a football nut, I rack my brain and I'm like, oh, I wonder what game that was. I wonder why Wentz played so bad. Like, and those type of things that you overhear, I think are fantastic. So, also, talking to some Broncos people, I mean, this is all... I hope people are enjoying this. Talking to Broncos people, we're talking about why Elway's so bad at evaluating quarterbacks. And, that was the day after he traded for Flacco, and we're talking about Keenum like he's like, oh, yeah, he's like, he brought in Keenum, and then he 1 year realized Keenum's not the guy. Keenum's not taking... John Elway doesn't think Keenum's taking any team to the Super Bowl, let alone the Broncos. Well, Now he's a member of the Redskins, right? So that type of stuff foreshadows what's going to happen. And I get a kick out of it, I guess.
Well, I just find it absolutely hilarious that now, 2 years later, basically the Redskins and the Vikings have switched quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Basically, it's what's happened.
Exactly. And are they either of them better off for it? We'll see, I guess, right? You can make an argument they're not.
Listen, the year that Ace had that year 2 years ago was great. He had a phenomenal year. The thing was, can he repeat it? But the thing is, as a quarterback, and you know this, you need consistency. So when you change teams right away, I knew Ace wasn't going to be Ace. He was going to go back to Case. But I still love him. I love calling him Ace. But now he's a Redskin, so you might as well. He's dead to me now.
But think about Elway. It's interesting. More I thought about Elway's pedigree with quarterbacks. We're talking awful.
Well, he
Osweiler,
lucked
Paxton
out
Lynch, Keenum. You could say Tebow, but not really Tebow. I don't think they ever meant that was a McDaniels thing more than Elway, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
But man, you're talking. But they've all pretty consistently been these gigantic quarterbacks, right? Except for Keenum. Keenum's the only one that hasn't been 6'4", taller, and just whatever. And now he's got Flacco, and what are you going to get out of Flacco? You still have a good defense, but you're dealing with the Chiefs and the Chargers in that division. You got to be able to score some points. You're not going to hold those teams to 12 points every week.
Does Flacco turn back the clock? Can he play like he did his Super Bowl year that they won? It wasn't like he threw up great numbers, but he wasn't a bad quarterback.
They have no weapons, though.
That was that run of 4 games. He didn't throw a single interception during that run to the Super Bowl.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, you're looking at Emmanuel Sanders coming off injury. Other than that, they
Lindsey.
have
You have Lindsey basically, and you're running back.
Patrick Lindsey. And the other rookie. But they have Cortland Sutton, so they actually do have some weapons. Let's see what he can do. But yeah, you got to hope that Emmanuel Sanders comes back. Patrick Lindsey didn't play as well second, into the season as well as he did at the beginning of the season. But yeah, who's to say? But I wouldn't.
They're a candidate for one of the Iowa tight ends. I don't think they'll take him in the first round. I think they're
not getting either one of them. Then
I think they're 10th. I think they're in the top 10. Taking whomever, but I don't know, guys.
What did you tweet?
I tweeted that all these mock drafts have them TJ 12th to the Packers, Fant 12th to the Packers. Couple DJs, Daniel Jeremiah's first one had Hawkinson at 8. I don't think you take a tight end at 8, and if you do, he better have measurables and tape like Vernon Davis did back in the day. I just don't think if TJ
Noah has that though.
I don't know if he has the consistency. The one knock on Fant that you'll hear from people that watch his tape and people that even watched his drills, like Bucky Brooks from the NFL Network tweeted it out. A couple other people think he just isn't as fluid catching the ball. He what was the term they used? Almost like he lets the ball come to him, like he's sponging the ball,
right?
Rather than actually catching the ball with his hands and essentially going back to get the ball. He almost lets it get too much into his chest, into his catch radius. I think and Matt Bowen said it. To me, he said it to people that were also interviewing from Iowa. That it just depends on what you want in a tight end. Are you going to run a lot of one tight end, one back like the Rams, 11 personnel, where you're going to split your tight end, put him in the slot, motion him into block, and try to create matchups that way? Or are you going to put him in line like the Broncos, like the Vikings? Are you going to put him in line on the line of scrimmage and run some 2-back sets, some 1-back set out of that, or even some 2 tight end sets? Because obviously Fant creates matchups in space, more mismatches in space than Hawkinson would. But I think everybody unanimously realizes Hawkinson's a much more physical player and a much better blocker in line. So that's where the balance is. And I tweeted, the only tight end to be taken under pick 19 since Vernon Davis is Eric Ebron, who was 10th to the Lions. I think that gives you a good idea. I just think right around that 20 in the first round is where we're going to see one of them go. I would think it's Hawkinson, but like you said, T-Roy, Fant's measurables and his athleticism, that matters in the NFL. That really does. And I think if you get the right team, that wants to spread it out a little bit and do that and doesn't put the tight end as much in line with their hand in the dirt, I think Fant could go first. It only takes one team. It just all depends, and that's.
And that kid from Bama looked really good too. He had some good times and everything in the drills.
Yeah, I mean I also think him and Fant are kind of the 1 and 2. You know, I don't know.
I would love to see him be the only 2 to go in the first round. I think they both go, and I've been watching all the mock stuff too, and I see like someone had Fant going as late as last pick to the Patriots.
Yeah,
and obviously if the Patriots get Fant at that pick, I mean they're licking their chops.
So, and I feel like this says talking about Vasco, I feel like the Steelers need a tight end. Like I know they have Vance McDonald's. He's been hurt. Jesse James is old. I think if Hawkinson's there for the Steelers, where are they? Right around 20 because they didn't make the playoffs, 20ish. I feel like the Steelers would jump on Hawkinson.
I think he fits that Steeler mold, and I think he'd be a great company to Vance McDonald because Vance is a beast, man.
Yeah,
I mean, good Lord, he's like tackling a giant giraffe. I mean, the dude's good. I think that team has a lot of question marks though right now, and is tight end going to be what they want to address first round? You know what I mean? Who knows? I mean, James Conner did a great job filling in last year. Cross your fingers and hope he can do the same. But, I mean, what are they going to do with wideout? Juju steps up, fills the role. I mean, it always seems like that's what happens when they do have a problem with any sort of receiver. I mean, that's the good thing if you're a Steeler fan. I mean, you think back to the kid that made the catch against the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. He went on to become a Giant or whatever. Santonio Holmes. Or not Giant, but a Jet. They kind of had, he was, what are they going to do without him? Well, along came Antonio Brown.
Yep.
Well, here's Juju Smith. So, yeah, I think you could be right. If they just go down, they start playing a different style ball, pound it, ground it, and look for some big tight ends when you get to the inside the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Last night, Madison.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I tell you what, I've been to Madison once for the football team and once for the basketball team. I don't need to go to Madison again if they're going to perform like that. The football team was that, 39-yard passing performance. Last night they shoot 30%. They really didn't have any business getting above 40, but they did because the scrubs were in at the end. I don't know. I know we talked about the Fran swoon, the Fran fade a month ago.
Yeah.
I still think this team can get an 8 seed, and that's where I predicted when I said buy or sell 8 or higher. You guys sold. I said I think they're going to get an 8 seed, but man, if they lose Sunday to Nebraska, they're not an 8 seed. They're 9-10 at this point.
Yeah.
I don't get it because their offense, they have scorers. Their offense is supposed to be the strength. In the last 4 or 5 games, they can't put the ball in the hole. And if you can't do that, and you're not a good defensive team to begin with, I mean that's a recipe for a losing streak, and that's what's going on. So, I didn't get the chance to talk to the players because we were doing stuff with Ethan Happ last night too. So, obviously, Spira was saying he knows the guys are a little down. There isn't any confidence, but maybe it's rock bottom. Maybe they just needed, that blowout loss to Wisconsin, who's a good team. Wisconsin's going to probably be a 4 or 5 seed in the tournament, so they're a good team. I just the body language last night wasn't great. That's something that was a little concerning. And then the confidence in these guys, like a couple times Isaiah Moss had he's coming off a curl screen, wide open jumper, and he doesn't pull it. He hesitates, and then they pass it around again, or coming off screen and roll, they don't throw it inside when it looked like a guy's open. It just stuff that I think the routine plays is maybe the stuff they're now overthinking because of that lack of confidence.
Any chance at all lost to Nebraska and Iowa gets an 11 seed? Am I wrong to hope for an 11 seed just because I want them to do the play-in game to get the attention on the program?
Yes.
I'm wrong to think that?
In a negative way, you're saying?
Well,
to get the negative attention for the fade again?
Well, I mean, you get the. I mean, people watch the play-in games. You have that many games going on opening day. I mean, the opening day of the tournament. At least you have eyeballs on you.
Yeah, but I don't know. After this would be the second time, 4 years that they would fade like that and go into the play-in game. I don't know if you want that again.
I think if you get yourself in a play-in game situation, then it's more of a negative, almost a joke of they were going to be a 6 seed, another play-in team. Like,
yeah, I don't
even though it's for an 11 seed, not.
I definitely want to see an 8 seed. I was still thinking 6. I thought they were going to pull something out. I thought they were going to be.
I heard you go with them last night with the Hassel pick, and in my car I was like, "Oh no, T-Roy, like, don't do it." Somebody asked me last night. I said I think it's probably right around a 10-point loss. I did not foresee a complete meltdown.
I was just hoping they could cover the spread.
I mean, they got Ethan Happ had 8 offensive rebounds. The whole Iowa team had 7. Like they got crushed on the boards. They couldn't shoot. 65 points to Wisconsin isn't awful. Wisconsin's not a world-beating offensive team, but you can manage that on the road. But, man, barely getting in the 40s.
It came down to shooting, you're right. I mean,
and I think Sunday, if they lose Sunday, I don't have the confidence that they're going to recharge, refresh, and go to the Big Ten tournament and win a game.
I mean, we don't have much time. But who is this guy on Twitter that was like, "Yeah, it serves the coach right," and you were like, "He's still suspended." From what I know, he's at the hotel.
Oh, I know. He's actually a referee in Minnesota. Oh, yeah. So he was chirping at that. But yeah, that hasn't helped him at all. Not having Fran, because Fran is a good basketball coach. Say what you want about his antics. He's a head coach for a reason, and these guys that are assistants that have been head coaches and aren't anymore, they're assistant coaches for a reason. So that in-game stuff does matter, but that's not why they're losing by 20 to Wisconsin and by 15 to Rutgers.
All right. Well, we got to wrap it up. Sorry, Ross. So thanks for coming in, though.
You bet.
You going out of town this weekend?
Nope. We got stuff tonight. We're doing a little Ethan Happ story, so watch for that on Channel 4, and then we'll be around.
Thanks, Turk Wendell, Dean, Matt, for calling in. We'll see you guys on Monday. You guys have a hassle-free weekend. Take care.